Generally, like 8 times more percent female or the woman are in danger than men. Usually in like 90% people, usually women, get hypothyroidism, that is low concentration of these important hormones in your bloodstream. Food for the thyroid are those that contain gluten. Gluten is the general name for the proteins that can be found in the wheat, rye, barley. And gluten is important because it helps food keep it in the shape and acts as a glue that holds food together. Gluten can be found in the many types of food, even in those where it would not be expected. Of all the grains that contain gluten, wheat is the most commonly consumed. The two main proteins that can be found in the gluten are glutenin and gliadin. And this is probably one of the worst food that you can eat for your thyroid gland. Everything that contains white flour, white pasta, everything that contains this gluten is get a lot of inflammation in your body, especially in your thyroid gland. That means the food that contains gluten you need to avoid at any cost. The protein gliadin is the one that has the most negative effect on our health. Gluten, in an exceptional number of cases, worsen thyroid function. What food contains gluten? These are wheat, barley, flour, farro, couscous, most bread and snacks, pasta, bakery products, cakes, waffles, and much more. Do not use packaged products from the store, especially ketchup, sauces of various kinds, salad dressing, and more. This is my first recommendation. If you want to have healthy thyroid gland, you must avoid totally gluten and food that contains gluten. The second, food that you need avoid at any cost is the sugar. Sugar is probably one of the worst product that you can eat every day for general health, especially if you have thyroid problems. That's why my second recommendation is going to be avoid sugar and the product that contains a lot of sugar. Let's say you have sugar in alcohol, juices, energy drinks, iced teas. They are very bad. Likewise, dairy products can create a lot of inflammation in the body. They are difficult to digest and they are a common cause of irritable bowel syndrome. If dairy products worsen your digestion, it means that you will not be able to absorb nutrients from other foods. If they used organic dairy product, everything would be fine. Unfortunately, a lot of this product that we buy contains a large quantity of white flour, gluten, sugar, salt, dairy products. They are unfortunately very bad for your thyroid gland and you must avoid it. Couple more very interesting information that a lot of you didn't know. First one is that soy food like tofu, edamame, or soy milk have many health benefits. However, soy food may interfere with thyroid medication used to treat hypothyroidism. That's why it's recommended to consume soy at least an hour after taking your medication, which gives your body ample time to fully absorb the drug. Of course, talk to your doctor or pharmacist if you have any question about timing of your thyroid medication and the food that you eat. A couple more information that is gonna surprise you a lot. First one is if you take medication, and usually those medications had a lot of side effects. That is unfortunately the case. If you drink coffee or caffeinated beverages like energy drinks or maybe tea or soda, you might need to be limited or avoided at all these caffeinated beverages or coffee, especially if you take medication for thyroid problem. Do you understand me? Coffee and coffee beverages along with the medication is gonna amplify your symptoms, especially if in the first couple of hours after you take medications. That is also very important to know. Couple more information. Raw cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, kale, bok choy, and the cabbage have a long list of health benefits. If you're taking thyroid medication for Hashimoto's, you may want to be careful about how they are prepared. Raw cruciferous vegetables contain goitrogens that can affect thyroid function and should be limited. Cooking those vegetables help reduce the goitrogenic activity and makes them better option for those with hypothyroidism. Usually this kind of vegetables is so good for our health. Fortunately, if you have thyroid problems, you must at least first cook them and then you eat them. Chemical toxins for things like medication, hormonal birth control, or other hormone replacements, and commercial beauty and cleaning products can contribute to inflammatory reaction. Use natural products at home on your body, decrease intake of any unnecessary medication, and clean up your diet and quit smoking. Hormone conditions can also possibly be caused from heavy metal toxicity like mercury. Heavy metals from algae filling have affinity for the thyroid and can disrupt your hormone balance and the thyroid functions. Couple more information. If you had a large or more stress, anxiety, or depression in your life, it's going to get a lot of problems with your thyroid. So you need, in a very natural way, reduce stress, depression, anxiety, not with medication that had a lot of side effects, but in a natural way. For today's show, it's very important. Food that contains a large quantity of gluten, of sugar. If you eat food that contains soy food like tofu, edamame, or soy milk, especially if you eat dairy products, coffee and caffeinated beverages, and raw cruciferous vegetables, it can get a very negative effect on your thyroid gland, and you need to avoid it.